Hello and welcome to my playthrough of Supreme Ruler Ultimate. During this playthrough, I will be playing as the nation of China. China is a communist nation, and I will be playing appropriately. The goal here, I do not necessarily have a goal other than to see where the game takes me, but ultimately, China wants to rule the world. We'll see what happens. Enjoy the ride. Welcome back, ladies and gents. We're starting right back up. Vietnam has just capitulated. We now own Vietnam as part of our territory. I'm going to let the game run on fastest. We're not at war at the moment. And as we look through these, we got one extra, but I think it may be this thing. Modern nuclear medicine. Let's take a look if anything else popped up in medicine. Yeah, the PET scan, which our healthcare rating goes up by 2 and our environmental cost goes up by 2. That's fine because I'm not going to fund. Let's take a look at that now. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter. China is a communist nation, so it doesn't matter what the people want. As long as the military would do what you tell them to do, that's all that matters. We want zero social assistance. I'm not going to change that. I do want to have more of a police state. So let's just double click. Double click will automatically take it to the recommended level, which you can see here is 740. I don't want any kind of subsidy. I do want some infrastructure. I'm going to leave that where it is for now because we're bleeding money, something fierce. The lower the education of the people, the less they'll want to. Let me rephrase that. The lower the education of the people, the more we'll be able to get away with. Let's put it that way. And I don't care about the healthcare rating because, we got 1 billion people. We can afford to lose a couple of 100 million and still be fine. Timber, industry goods, and consumer goods. Well, I know that we need industry goods, or at least we did in the last video. Let's take a gander here. Yeah. And let's update ourselves on, I wanted to see what those units were that were here in a circle. Okay, so this is all completed, which means we can move these guys. If I can remember here it is. Move here. This should be completed in about, right now. It just completed. Because we're on fast speed. Consumer goods and industry. Yep, we'll go with that. Tensions heightened alert level. I've never liked this because this just says worldwide alert level is increased based on current tensions, but it doesn't give you any idea what the tensions are. You have no idea. And then immediately after that, we get alert level reduced. Again, we have no idea. I really, really, really enjoy the Supreme Ruler series, but this has always bugged me. These are the two things that I dislike. The one thing I really dislike is we can no longer set our own DEF CON, which is just asinine because you're the ruler of the country. Absolutely, you should be able to set your DEF CON, but that's a whole nother issue. All right, we'll get these guys over here, have them spread out a little bit, and then I will make them get together. No, I didn't want all of you there, clowns. I want to take 7 and move them back here. I want you there. Now, these are industrial goods. I can tell they're industrial goods, but they're only 10 days. And now that we've got this here, yeah, it looks like 12 days is going to be... Okay, 17 days is the longest. So in a little over 2 weeks, those will all come online. Let's look at after absorbing Vietnam, we have their population now also. We have 7.5% unemployment, which is good. It keeps our prices low. Now, in the past, the way I have described this is some people don't understand, in my opinion, unemployment. If you have 100 jobs available and you have 1,000 people looking for those jobs, you can pay them anything you want. They're just happy to have a job, right? So the higher your unemployment, the cheaper your economy is going to be. On the other hand, if you have 1,000 jobs and only 100 people looking for them, that's not good, because no matter what you do, you're going to have increased costs, because you've got each person doing the job of 10 people. So you have to pay them more money. Now realize this is a very, very simple analogy or explanation, but for me that always seemed to work in the past when I was explaining it to people. So if you have Bob who's working at a shop and he's working with Millie and Jesse, and Millie and Jesse get fired, now Bob has to do the job of 3 people, so he's going to expect more pay. You understand what I'm getting at? At any rate, the other thing here is we're down to zero or negative 0.2 inflation, so it is actually going down. We don't care about this. This is going down into the crapper, especially since I lowered those settings for welfare and things of that nature. But as long as the military is up, I can do anything I want. I am communist. Don't give a crap what the people think, as long as I can get what I want done. And unfortunately, on fast speed, you're going to get these nonstop. I'm not going to sell that to Kenya. It's too cheap, in my opinion. We're going to reject. They are selling us timber, and we need timber, so it doesn't matter what I pay for it. Let's let this go one day, and then let's take a look at, if I can click on the right button. I need to switch this to dollars. All right, so right now we're making the most money. I mean, 90% of our money is coming from consumer goods. We now are selling a lot of electricity, but electricity is cheap, and we're selling metal ore now that we have an excess. However, timber still, let's go another day and see what happens. Yeah, timber is still the only thing we're paying for. We're still petroleum, which is good. Let's take a look at petroleum. Yeah, we make a lot more petroleum than we use. Unfortunately, we're only producing about half of the timber we need, but we are producing about almost 1 million more units of electricity than we need. Now, consumer goods are our bread and butter right now. China exports consumer goods to the world, and it's very cheap for us to, we're going to put all these guys in reserve. It's very cheap for us to make it. We're going to put all these guys in reserve. Now, one thing about reserve is you'll notice this thing has some damage to it. When you put a unit in reserve, it will still repair. It just will not then redeploy once it has repaired. Timber and consumer goods. That's better. Yeah, Sri Lanka has given us some good amount. Let's look at this. Again, alert level reduced. Bond renewed. We want to look at that at some point, but right now we just don't have the money to pay any attention to bonds. What do I want to do with you guys? Let me think about this while I've got this on pause. I think first and foremost, I'll just get everybody over here and then have you go here. And we've got, this is the Kuwait. They're selling us industry goods. We need them. We need a lot of industry goods for at least another 2 weeks. All right, you guys get in there, and then we'll just have you, for now, reserve. Reserve. In fact, I want everybody to reserve. If I reserve, it makes myself look weaker. You'll see here, right now I do have a certain amount of military out, but once we reserve everything, it'll look weaker, and then someone may decide they want to declare war on us because we look weak. Indonesia. That's close. You know what? I'll take it. That's close. All right. Again, Sri Lanka. I don't know if it's Sri Lanka or Sri Lanka. I always said, well, I don't know what I've always said. I probably switch it up back and forth. You know what? I'll just go with these. Unit completed. All right, the flankers. Let's take a look at our Air Force. We're going to go for some breezes. I'm just going to fill it up. Ground units look good. We've got 2 more now. Does that mean we got some from Vietnam, or did I have 2 elsewhere? No, there's none in Vietnam. Where are the 2 that are empty, I wonder? Let's click on this. This is full. I did not mean to turn that back on. Let me get rid of this while I'm here. Click on that. That's what I want. Then click on that. All right. Now we'll just cycle through these by pressing and holding Shift and the right bracket button, and it'll go through just naval build facilities. Well, there you go. This one doesn't have anything in it. That's the 2 that are empty. All right, knowing that they're going to be right on the front line, I'm going to put subs in there. 2 more Shangs. Oh, and it took, so we're good to go. Now, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I changed my mind. We're going to deploy everybody. Let's get everybody deployed. Oh. Let's get rid of that. Let's send some paying for that. Let's get rid of that. You know, I'll go through these in a moment. What I came over here for was these aircraft. I don't want any of these from 1966, so let's add highlighted types and scrap them all. I should sell them is what I should do. I don't want any of these Fantans. Yeah, I should sell them, but I just don't want to give other people military units right now. I'm pretty sure I don't want any of these Finbacks either. Yeah, I do not. We're slowly but surely modernizing our military forces and all this stuff from ancient times. I don't want any artillery that has to be towed. So we'll get rid of 61 of those. I don't want this helo either. No. No, I'm making sure it's not anti or ASW. There's only 2 of it. We'll get rid of it. Sounded French to me. The name sounded French. Don't want these. There's 3 of them. Now, the flankers, obviously, I do want flankers. So let's put them back into reserve. He's got to land. They won't do it if not. I don't want any of these attack helicopters. Micro RFD technology. We're going to go, you know what, I'm just going to throw that in there because, again, we don't have a lot of stuff to put in. Environmental cost +2, environmental rating up 4. Law enforcement rating. We're going to go with that and that. We'll just fill this up. We'll have 1 extra. Yeah, because this is going to come out in 22 days or less. Okay, this flanker, can I get you guys to reserve? Some of them went in. I don't really want the Thunder Draken. I don't know if I do or I do. It just doesn't look like a good, doesn't look good to me. The range is, you can't really do anything when you're a large country and you're, what happens is you have to wind up having a bunch of squadrons stationed all over, and it's just not very good. And, of course, we want the, well, we want the Badgers for now until I get a bunch more Hongs online. The reason I'm handling these fast is because if they run out of fuel as they're circling around, they'll just crash. Then we won't have anything. I don't know what this is. Is this a... Oh, it's patrol class. But it's only got 61 range, so we don't want it. Yeah, that's not worthwhile. Get rid of it. Is this the same one I was just looking at? No, this is even worse, 31 range. And no anti-air or ASW. Scrap you. Okay, now we're getting some more. We want these Hongs, definitely. Add highlighted types and reserve. Those are our current state-of-the-art. I don't want these Panthers. Strategic bombers, the Hongs. I'm still undecided about these. You know what? For now, I'm just going to... I don't even know how many I got, but there's only one selected here, so we will reserve it. I think I wound up... I don't want this careless. It's a patrol aircraft. It's a Russian. And I'm pretty sure I don't want this. Although for now, it's 141, and that's one of the longer range, so I'm going to reserve it. We'll come back and look at these at a later time. I know I don't want this. I don't even have to look at it. So let's scrap all 13 of them. I don't want the curls. These little cargo planes are not worthwhile in my opinion. Unless you use the AI, I suppose. I don't let the AI control my military. But for people who do, it may be useful to you, but it's not useful to me. Now, these are the 360s. Is there anything that we can build that's bigger than that? Yes. The Kunping. Again, I apologize for my pronunciation of these things. They can go 4,500. That's not very large, but it does have a large cargo capacity, which means as it's moving, it can withdraw fuel from its own cargo capacity, providing it's not entirely full. So let's go back and look at that. I don't want these hips. Let's go ahead and get rid of them. No, well, I didn't mean to do that. Hip, add highlighted types. There we go. Scrap unit. Now let's look at this again. 360 at 6680. I don't think so. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of it. Scrap unit. And let's look at this one. 20 and this one. 384 at 6100. No, we'll get rid of all of these. Total of 2. And 240, and we just looked at this, did we not? Get rid of both of these. If I can press the right, there we go. 8 of them. Scrap you. And now let's look at this. This is starting to... Slovenia wants to sell us military goods, which we don't need. And they're asking for money. I'm going to reject. Rubber... 107, no. That's not even close. Reject. Consumer goods, 249, you want 356. Nah, we need money. Give us more money. I'm going to do a little Dutch Vanderlyn here. 2 to 149, yes. We will accept that, even though that's something we need. 520, yes. Turkey. Yes. You know what? That's more money than they're worth, so we will... accept that because we can turn around and sell them on the open market. 280 and 365. No, I'm not buying consumer goods when I... Yep, industry goods we're going to accept. And industry goods and South Africa. Industry goods. All right. We'll accept all of that. Scrapping a lot of units here. We're going to get our military down to be lean and mean. That Careless is a Russian design also. I don't think I want it. I don't want this because it's only 129 and we've already got 141s. And this is 10. So we're going to both of these. Again, the game works just like any kind of Windows program or Microsoft program. If you hold Shift, you can highlight multiple items. Or let me rephrase that. If I click something here and then hold Shift, it's only going to get that one, the ones I'm clicking on. But if I hold Control, I can click on multiple items, you know, and each one I click on will add it and it still stay selected. That's what I'm trying to say. Now let's look at the stuff here. These Hanan are patrol boats. I don't really use patrol boats, but for now I'm going to keep them. We want all the ZBs to go into reserve because that's what our #1 fighting force was. Go into reserve. We still have stuff that's coming out of reserve. No, just the stuff I've put back in there. I'm lying. We got stuff that still hasn't came out of reserve yet. That's fine. It'll take a while. All right, so we've got Sudan and Saudi Arabia. Consumer goods, 278, 364. No, you're not giving me enough money. They're selling us industry goods, which we do need. The reason these guys are not coming out is that there's no... I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I set a rally point here for this barracks, they'll have room to move. And then anything else that needs to come out can come out. By the way, what are you? That is a seaport. Yep, you go in there. You reserve. We don't have very much of a good navy at the moment. Let's look at all this in one fell swoop. These things I do not want. That's 523, 534. I'm pressing and holding control and then left clicking on these, and it will automatically grab all of them. I don't want these. I don't want these tanks. I don't want these tanks. All right, let's add everybody. That's 34 units. Let's scrap them all. Once that cleared up, we got, what have we got here? We got more people coming out of, that's fine. I do want everybody out. How many we got left? 400, whoops. Didn't mean to click on that. Meant to click that. We got 431 left. And there, let's find stuff that's still stuck in, like right here. Where are you at? Right there. Let's set a rally point for you so you can clear out and let other things come out. We want to highlight everything. Just click on ground units so that I'm not moving those ships. And we'll go back to here. Now you guys also need a, where is the, there's the barracks. We want to set a rally point. I think right here. Highlight all this. Clicked on ground units and just move. Well, I don't need you. Just move the ground units out of the way. And go ahead and, while we're here, yeah, go ahead and get everything out. We just want to find the stuff that hasn't deployed yet and that I haven't had a chance to look at. These troop, you've got room. I just need you to get out of the way. 379. Yep, you're still coming out. There's a lot of stuff in there. What about you? You're loaded. You're here also? What about you? Are you here also? Nope. All right, let's set a rally point for this naval to right there. And we can get all you guys out of there. 379. All right, the Hongs we want to be in. These things, I don't want these at all. Let's deploy them. Shangs we want in. All the Navy want to stay in for now. Yep. All right, so the flankers. Where are you at? Right here. Let's get you all out of the way over here. And let's set a rally point for this barracks to right there. And then let's go ahead and get rid of everything here. Have it deploy, I should say, not get rid of. All right, where else do we have a hold up? Now, this is the kind of thing I was talking about a few videos ago when I asked if people wanted me to show everything or only show basically the combat. But this is all part of playing the game, as I say, just on every game I play. This is part of playing the game. It's not just all combat, because you have to set up things properly in order to get to the combat. And this all looks good. This is Navy. Let's filter to aircraft. I did get rid of all the other GNs because there's only that one there. So flankers, Hongs, okay, and then ground units. That's really the important one. As long as the ZBs were good. Let's see what else is here. Is there anything else? Nope. Okay, we're finally, everything out that I wanted out is now out. Now we can start doing this en masse. I can build. I now have the capability to produce these elite forces, which are the best that I can do. They're not very good, but they're the best that I can do right now. 24, 18, 21, and 16. 24, 18, 27, and 22. They're just not amphibious. Yep. So we're going to get rid of everything that's not an elite force or an engineer, or I mean a marine. Let's do that again. We want to get rid of these because we want to keep them. When I say get rid of them, I mean remove them from my selection. We're going to remove from selected type. This airborne elite is not what we want. So we're going to select everything of that type and scrap it. They'll take a while if they're away from a barracks because it's leg infantry. Combat engineer, we don't want that selected. We don't want that selected because we've already handled it. And these guys, what are they? They 22. These are the new ones that I'm just now building, right? Yep, the VTT 400s are the new ones. All of this airborne needs to be scrapped. Let's look at these recon units. You know what? All these recon units need to go. There's 5 of them. Scrap you. This is what I typically do in every game. Is I will go through and do this. Now, the elite forces, these are the ones that I want. So let's add highlighted types and tell them to go into reserve. Because I don't want all this old, outdated crap beyond line of sight targeting systems. So we should be good because I had thrown in one extra last, so we'll just let that go. Let's take a look at these. Now, this is very interesting because I don't want any of these towed artillery. So anything that has this icon, which means it's towed, I don't want. So we don't want this or this. Again, I'm holding control while I click on these. I don't want that. I don't want that. And this is selecting all of them. I don't want this. Or the MLRS. For now, just get rid of it. I don't want the launchers of any kind. Now, for here, we'll just add highlighted types. It gives me 279. We're going to scrap it all. Don't want it. It's not in my plans for my OOB. All right, industry goods, we will accept rubber at 28 and 46. Finland. I like Finland. I personally like Finland. We need the timber. Yeah, they're offering us more. Again, Sri Lanka is offering us more than it's worth. So we're going to accept it. All these numbers being scrapped. Let's look at this portion again. You know what? I got to get rid of these. I don't like them. I just don't like them. We're going to get rid of all these little patrol boats. These OSAs. There's 59 of them. Let's just scrap them all. Again, Sri Lanka. You know what? This time they're offering us less, though. I'm still going to accept because they have been paying us well for them. They might think they have some kind of... Let's get rid of these little Heinens. You know what? Add highlighted types. 94 of them. It's just too much junk floating around that we don't need. Okay. Consumer goods. 895. Yes! Ireland. Just finished watching House of Guinness. The series was way too short. And the USA is offering us timber, which they've been selling us all along, which is fine with me. We are starting to make money now because we're reducing how much money we're spending on our forces, our military. Let's look at all these. I'm trying not to grab any more ships at the moment. I'd get rid of the combat engineers. No, not add. Remove highlighted types. There we go. And all of these we want to add and reserve so we can get them out of the way. Make sure everybody's out of the way and then do it again. I just don't, tanks are not my thing, man. Not right now, not until we can get some better tanks. So highlight these tanks. Even though these are the newest tanks I think I have, we're going to scrap all 13 of them. 13's not going to make a difference in the long run either way. Let's look at what we got here. Sri Lanka. Oh, they're offering us more again. We will accept. Timber, 319. Bolivia, I may need a place to land in South America. So we'll accept that. And Mexico, sure, why not? Again, I may need a place to land in South America or even Central America. Although it's my understanding that some people don't even consider Central America. They only consider South America, North America. But to us in the United States of America, granted, the whole continent is America. That's why I don't get bent out of shape when we call that the Gulf of America, because the whole continent is America. Some people get bent out of shape because they think it's the United States of America naming it the Gulf of America. But anyway, that's a whole other issue. But anyway, the whole continent is called America, and I may need to land there at some point. All right, we don't want any of this AA, this toad crap. There's only one of those. Genetic code sequencing. Let's see what else we can throw in now that we have an open slot. All right, we're going to throw that in. Okay, let me do this way then. 1900, 14, 56, 14. Again, I don't want any of this toad AA. All right, let's add all of this. That's only 10. We'll scrap it all. Get it out of the way so I can... That was a... something. I had too many units scrapped that took up... All right, I don't want these hips at all. We'll get rid of all the hips. And I think I do want this. Yeah. This is my number 9 that I was using earlier, so we will reserve you. And this toad AA again. Don't want you or you. You're both the same thing. Add halide types and scrap. I don't want this. Or that. Or that. So all 3 of these can go bye-bye. That's another 17 units we can get rid of. Now, sometimes I will sell these units because you can sell these units to other nations and generate some income. Chemical warfare. See, that's something you should start with. Chemical weapons production. Yeah, we're China, right? Our people don't like it, but who cares what our people want? As long as the military does what I tell them to do, that's all I care about. All right, so this is a not very good artillery, but it is not, at the same time, it's not... What is the best artillery I can produce? These things are not toads, so that's a good, that's a positive, but let's look at this. I think the Tomcat is low, and this is high. Okay, so the WS2, the Tomcat, and this mortar is really all I'm interested in. So the Tomcat, we will add highlighted types, 28 of them, and then we're going to reserve. Let's take a look at this stuff over here. This is that mortar I was just looking at. It's got a range of 49. Not when you look at it here, but when you look at it on here, you can see the range because this takes into consideration 49 kilometers. This includes all your technology. So let's put this in. There's 34 of them. Let's reserve all of them. Get them out of the way and then grab some more. There's one that's moving. There we go. I don't think I want this. No, we don't want this thing. So let's get rid of all of them. There's only 28 of them. Give them time to get out of my way and then grab some more. This is not a Tomcat or whatever it was I was looking at earlier, so let's get rid of them. The Soviet doctrine from old just deals with mass artillery. And I think the communist China kind of took that same philosophy. I don't want that guy or that guy. So we'll take both of them. Another 7 units to scrap. Then we'll take a moment to look at what we have here. Tunisia, timber, industry goods, 300, 308. Yeah, That's a good. That's okay. We need them no matter. Industry, timber. Yep. And yep. Oh, we want all of that. What is this? Okay, supply. We want all supply vehicles to reserve for now till I can get some better supply vehicles. This is all I have. Again, Toad AA, we don't want any part of. We don't want this or this Arty. So we'll get rid of all of it. Another 3. They're going away pretty fast. Now let's look at this stuff. Toad AA again. Don't want that or that or that. And I don't want that bridging unit. So let's get rid of all of this. 119 units. Scrap them all. All right, Saudi, industry goods, Angola. I remember I played a game in years past. Oh, don't do that. In years past, where I wanted to be allied with Angola as the USA, because Angola was a democracy. Like you can see right now, they're a full-fledged democracy and they're doing very well, even though they like China. And Angola got attacked by some of its neighbors, and I gave them some A-10 Thunderbolts. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that was a good game. Anyway, back to this game. These, you know what? These are more little patrol boats. Hold on. Add entire highlighted classes. Every patrol boat, 257. Let's just scrap them all. I don't want to deal with any of them. Now, back to this. Industry, consumer goods, 600. Angola is paying a lot of money for that. We'll just take all of this. Very good. Still making a little bit of money. Not a lot, but we're making a little bit. What have we got down here? Okay, you're the old AA we were using, but for now, until we can get enough of them built, add all of these and reserve. They're our primary AA unit, and we'll just have you guys. Okay, here's the thing. We want both these Shangs, all the Shangs, wherever they are, to reserve. That's our primary subunit at the moment. This right here is 500, 350, 275, and 600. None of this is any good. None of this is any good. I want all of you, add highlighted types, 41 of you to scrap. We're not using that crap. It may have went in the past, but not this regime. This is the newest tank I think we can get, the 98G. I'm not going to build any more, I don't think, but for now we will put them in reserve. There's only 6 of them. Let's see what this is way over here. Ah, this is a manned AA unit. I don't want them, they're too slow. We're going to scrap them all. And then scroll out so I can see some more stuff here. What are these 2 units? Combat engineers and armored bridging. We don't want any bridging units. Add highlighted types and scrap. Common ranged missiles. We're currently researching 22. All right. Let's see if we got any more missiles. Air launch is what I'm interested in. The sandbox. This is a new version of the sandbox. What am I producing now? This one is 410 at 600. 410 at 600. And this is 625. You know what? Even though it's less, I like this. We're going to throw that bad boy in there because we like the ability to reach out and touch someone, right? Combat engineer. Add highlighted types. And all of you go here. No. Where are you at? Here. Oh, they're already built. Either way, still go there. We were building more combat engineers, which we're going to do now because these just came out of production. How many does that give me? 17. All right, we've only got 7 slots, which is 1 full, so we're going to add them back in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they will auto-deploy. We've got one extra, so we're going to add another breeze in. Okay, very good. These guys are looking good. Advanced Trimaran vessels. That's good. That is very good. Let's see what we got. Naval force production. Yeah, advanced. We definitely want that. We're going to need to fight on the oceans. For now, we don't need to, but we will eventually. Now it's all about defense. But in the future, we're going to be able to project power across the seas. I don't want this Black Hawk. I don't even want to think about how China got a U.S. Black Hawk. Even though I know that we were allies at one time. It's a long time ago. I don't think I want this, but let me look. Yeah, I don't want it. So we don't want this, 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 or this. And we'll get rid of all of it. Scrap it all. Get them out of the way. What are you doing? Where are you going? Oh, you're a combat engineer. All right, this flying leopard is relatively new, but it's just the JF-17. I don't want this. This is a doggone turboprop puddle jumper, what we call them. Not interested in that. Let's go back and look at this. Because this was a multi-roll. Where did I see it at? Where in the world did I just see that multi-roll at? Oh. Somewhere down here. See, I can't even build these things. Because they're excluded, which means I don't want them. All right, so you are going to go... If I excluded them, that means I've already looked at them in the past and I don't want it. And the tanker... Now, we don't have very many tankers. And this one doesn't have any cargo capacity. It does have a huge amount of... What else can I build? This is just crap. Yeah, China's options here are very, very limited. This tanker's from 36,000. Is that what I was just looking at? The Hong 6DU? Yep. That's the only add and reserve because that's all we can have right now. All right, what are these? All right, this is AWACS. Yakula. Again, this is Russian designs. And I don't think I want it. What about this? What's the difference? They're both 141 as far as range. 30, 141, and 666 is the speed. Ominous. This is slower at 6,000. This is faster but diminished range. For these, really speed is not the issue. Let me see what I can build right now. Where's patrol? All right, this one. The one I was just looking at. That's what we're going to go with. Where are you guys at? Right here. So you go away. We'll scrap you. And then we'll have you. Just one, so reserve. And then what's left here? This transport is too small. These hips are no good. And I do want this halo. We want all halos to go into reserve. And then we'll scrap both of these. Okay, is there anything out here? You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the map grid for now. Since I'm not in combat, I don't necessarily need it. We want all of you guys to... I said I was going to build an airfield right here. So let's do that. An air base, I mean. Let's do that right now. And in the meantime, have all of you reserve your ZBs. We do want you. Okay, so this is Ukraine, Estonia. I do like the Baltic states, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. And if I'm not mistaken, way back in the 60s when I was reading comics, maybe the early 70s, wasn't Doctor Doom from Latvia? Isn't originally Doctor Doom from Latvia? It seems like that's the case. In my mind, that's what it's telling me. But we all know how my mind functions. It may or may not be correct at this age. All right, so they're selling us timber. We will accept 12 and 15. I will accept. I need them. Rubber, 3 and 4. That's not all bad also. Indonesia, we'll go with that. Bolivia, again, South America. Yeah, we'll sell to you. Nepal. Now, that's interesting because I think in the real world, well, I'm not going to talk about the real world. I'm trying to see. I keep clicking on to move the map, and I wind up changing where I'm clicking on. Okay, because you have to hold the right mouse to move the map and click on something. So right now they kind of like us. It's cordial. So let's see. Yeah, we'll go for it. They're a good buffer between us and India at the moment. Ukraine, again, with consumer goods. Consumer goods. And, of course, we're going to accept the timber. We just need a lot of timber. Industrial fuel. All right, now we might be getting to the point where we're going to have new infantry units come out, but not quite yet. Let's look at all this. Adaptable computing. Advanced robotics and adaptive computing are good, but they're long-term goals. If there's nothing else here that I see that I want to throw in, I will throw them in. This really doesn't give us that much of a boost. I'm going to go with this adaptive computing because this stuff comes in handy once you get to improved digital military systems. And again, I'm thinking long-term. So we'll throw this in. And this. That'll get both. That'll fill it up. All right, what have we got back here? What is all this stuff over here? All right, these guidelines that we don't want. You know what? They're mid-range. They're the only mid-range that I can build, maybe? No, these are 22 and 32. And these are 43, or 22 and 32. 1957, though. 1974. And they say 92. I think they can only fire once before they need to get reloaded. And they can see 92. What about you guys? You can only see 68. You can only... All right. All right, let's scrap all of these guys. These guidelines are going bye-bye. There's 50 of them. We'll get rid of all of them. Now let's see what's left. I'm pretty sure I do not want you. Yeah, you're just a crap unit. I only want the WS, what is it, WS 300 when it comes to these long-range artillery units. These are the new ones. Add, let's make sure that is the new ones. The PDZ 77 HQ. Yep, those are the new ones. So we want to have these guys reserve. Advanced superconductor. We'll take a look at this. And then we'll throw in that other technology that I wanted to put in. Stem kill. We'll throw this one in. What have we got here? I don't want that, and I don't want that, and I don't want that. I don't want that. So let's go ahead and get rid of them. Scrap them all. Every time I tell people that, for example, if I play the USA, I really never have more than 500 units, and they don't believe me. I don't have more than 500 units when I play the USA. That's true. All right, they're selling us timber. We'll take it. I don't need thousands and thousands of units to do what I do because I do it all manually. I don't let the AI do it, which is why I don't have all the problems that a lot of other people have since I'm doing it all manually. I don't think that S500... Oh, it is. I didn't think that was the new one, but it is. So we're going to put these in reserve. Get them out of the way. By the way, let's look at this. Yeah, now I notice I don't have any military power is listed because everything's... The vast majority of my offensive power is now reserved, which means I do not look threatening to any other countries, which also means I'm not generating any belligerence toward any of these other countries right now. When you have a large military, the thing about Supreme Ruler Series, I can't speak for 2030 because I don't play it. It's not my cup of tea, unfortunately. But all previous iterations, the larger your military, the more people hate you. It's kind of backwards, and the more likely they are to attack you. Whereas in the real world, the stronger your military, the less likely they are to attack you. But they had to have something, I guess, to generate hatred. I think you're too small for me to... 11.4 is really good. Are you the... I thought it was these guys, the 23,000. Yeah, 23. So let's get rid of you. I don't want... There's only 2 of you anyway. We'll scrap 2 of you. And we want you guys to go into reserve because we do want you. There's only 7 at the moment. Reserve. Taiwan giving us a look over. That's the Taiwanese flag. And for now, you know what? For now, all of you, everything, go into reserve. Because I haven't really dealt with the Navy yet. Because Navy takes a long time to produce. And right now, we don't have any really good naval units. Future helicopter designs. Let's just have all of you go into reserve then. I'll look at the Navy once we get some decent units. There's that new Sandbox missile. All of you guys go into reserve. Scrolling out so I can see if I've missed anything over here. I don't see any little white dots. I don't see any down here. All right, so it's all right here now. These are the combat engineers. So it's just this area that I need to deal with. And we're just going to have all the Navy go into reserve while we look at this. Okay. You know what? Take me to Sri Lanka. And I'm just going to auto-accept everything they give us that's in my favor. That way I don't have to look at them all the time. Timber, industry goods, timber. This is all timber and industry goods, which we're going to accept with the exception of Congo. And they're offering us almost three times what it's worth, so we're absolutely going to accept that. Social reform, waste auditing. Let's see if we got any more that we can throw in from society. No, that's just Trump ideology, which we don't want as China. Although it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? Now, this will increase in the long run. This will increase our output of food, but the people don't like it. Again, I'm playing Communist China. I don't give a crap what the people want. Let's see if there's something. We got another extra slot. Is there anything I can throw in? Anything new that's popped up? This mortar, the range on it is terrible. And it's 80. What is the one we can build? The fast-firing one? This is 67. Unfortunately, it's much better. I do not and will not want that, so we can get rid of that. I do not want this. I can get rid of that. The only one I want is that WS300, I think it's called. I'm just looking to see what else I had thrown in there. And this is low. It does 41 and 31. How does that compare to the Tomcat? 41 and 31 at 67. 41 and 31. Yep. So this is better than the Tomcat, but they're both low, which I don't really care for. But if I can't find anything else, I will throw that in there. We've got a new interceptor here. It's the J-20, but we got to get stealth aircraft designs. How far off are we on that? I know it's in here. I remember click right there. We got another 6 months, 5 months. That candidate, again, it's a Soviet. Not interested in it. Wait, what was that one that I can already build? 700, wasn't it? 792. Yeah, at 4,500. whereas this Soviet version is 576, 70. You know, I don't want it. And this new tanker, nah, I don't want it. All right, let's look at, speaking of Navy, I don't want this carrier either. 2 is ridiculously small amount. I don't want any of these patrol ships. This is 115 and 85. 3 and 12, I'm looking at missiles. 4 and 16. Well, range is 8250, 6,000 at 35. Okay, I will get rid of this one. If I'm going to get any of them, which I doubt I will, but if I do, it will be that one. Any more missiles? That Chasm was 200 at 400 and 1,000. This one, I don't have anything. You know what? We might throw that bad boy in there because that is 200 at 225, 200 at 400. 115, 115, 130. Nope. 400 versus 225. Now, the 400 is better, but it has much more. I'm looking at the bottom where you see the little tank icon and the plane icon. That's ground defense and air defense. This one has 115 and 115, whereas this one has 135 and 130, which means it's much harder to shoot down, but it only has 225 kilometer range, whereas this one has 400 kilometer. And for these type of weapon systems, I like range. These are newer, and they're stealthier. They're 115 versus 100. You know what? In this particular instance, I will go with the higher numbers instead of range. Does that give us 2? Yep, that's 2. All right, what else is left here that I haven't? All right, these naval flankers. Do I want them? For now, that's all I have that will go on an aircraft carrier. So we will reserve them for now. And then let's see what else we got here. I don't want any of you. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. Scrap you. PET scan. Anything else in medical? Yep, medical field advances. We will go with that. Now this is ASW, and it's the only one I have. I'm going to reserve it. I don't think it is. Yeah, that's the one I was using earlier. Remember when we fought a little battle over here and I used it to take out the Korean subs? Now this backfire is the only thing left, and I don't want it. Because, wait, let's look at the Hongs. 195, 195, 165. Really, 195 and 165 at 10, and I do 12,000. 170, 170 at 10. It only does 5,000. Yeah, we're just going to scrap this bad boy. All right, now that should mean the only thing, I've only got 21 units out, and it should be this right here. That's 17. What are the others? Where else have I got units at? Right there. I didn't see it underneath that. These are some older bombers. I don't want them. I don't want them. I had to use them when we were fighting Korea, but I don't need them anymore. Scrap units. Okay. Now let's take a look. We've had a lot of time. See all these little things I want to clear up, which means I click on the land tab. I click on this, and I go to industrial because that's all the stuff. And again, I've shown this before. I'm going to show it again. Anything that does not have a number in asterisks means that it is empty. Also, these things right here tell me that these things need to be built up. So we're going to do repairs on them. They're PALs. That's the PALs icon. Let's see where you're located at. Right here. Yeah, we'll take that because that is petroleum and food. Even though we have more petroleum than we need, there's no harm to doing that. All right, this is empty, so we can delete that. This is just the quickest way I know to do this. Not saying it's quick, but it's the quickest way I know to do it. All right, here's a string of them. So we can click on this bad boy, hold this, and then press and hold shift while pressing the right bracket button. We know there's going to be at least 5 of them, right? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those are all the water, the hydro facilities that I got rid of since those were all on the river. Let's do the same thing again. Press and hold shift. Click this, and then just press the right bracket key and go through these. Just one click. Click, boom, click, boom, click. All right, that's a good one. Again, the quickest way I know to do that is what I'm showing. If you can do it quicker, more power to you. I'm unaware of it, though. That's a single, so we just get rid of it. I can see it right there. All right, we're almost through this. We're at least 70% done. And this is just the industrial side of the house. We still have military, because I do want to get rid of a bunch of barracks. I don't like barracks all over the place. I like barracks near where possible combat is going to occur. So I tend to scrap barracks that are not attached. We'll see if there's any military facilities that don't have anything attached to it. I tend to only want barracks where there are industrial complexes or land fabrication complexes. All right, let's look at civilian. I'm not worried about civilian because there's always going to be a city there. Doesn't matter. There's no such thing as empty. There's always going to be a city there. All right, now that's everything. We've got 17 out, even though this is 18. What is the 18th one? That. Where are you at? Right there underneath. Do I want you? 10 at 576. No, we're going to scrap you. I was using you to show an example earlier of how to supply, if you recall, supply units that are out of supply with an aircraft. I do remember doing it. All right, now let's look back at what this shows. You notice we got this red triangle here, which means we have a very high debt. Our economy tells us that we have 2.322 or 2,322,266 in debt. We're down from negative 0.2 inflation to negative 0.1. We're still at the same unemployment, which is 7.5. And oddly enough, we have 40% tourism. I don't know why. Maybe now that the war's over with, it'll go up some. I've always wanted to visit China, but see what I did? That was Colombia, I think. That was Colombia. I only got just a brief glance at it, but it looked like the Colombian flag. All right, Congo, CDR. Now, I'll tell you something that's true that you may not know. Any nation in the world that has Democratic Republic in it is anything but democratic. I'll just throw that out there. I'm just going to say okay, because I don't care. China has no official position on that. RFID. Yeah, we're getting to the point where there isn't very much to throw in, so we're just throwing stuff in to have something in the queue. I like that improved reactor designs in the future. That'll come in handy. All right, Honduras, 111 and 392. I'm going to say nay to that. Finland. I did say I liked Finland, didn't I? We need the timber, so we will accept both of those. Where's my New Zealand family at? Okay, we have, every time you see this icon, I mean something just came out of production. So if you see this on a map, know that things just finished producing. All right, this is that missile, that 200 damage. Let's see, make sure first. Let me click on anything but that. Can you not click on that? Is that the only thing I have producing? Just that one? It probably is, yep. How many does that give us then? 8. I want at least 14, so we're going to throw 6 more back in there. This is good. How long before my 26 days before my combat engineers come out. These guys are still good. Make sure that there is only... The Shang is the only submarine I have available. That is correct. Yeah, China doesn't have a lot of naval options at the beginning. Modern day tank. I'm going to look at that even though tanks are not my thing. Not these low tier tanks anyway. In fact, 110, 108, 102. We're looking at 32 and 54, 30 and 47. We got to beat 32 and 54. There's 35 and 60. And there's 35 and 62. What's the difference? This one is more modern. What is the difference? $20, $30, 0, and 10. 20, 25, 0, and 10. All right, so it doesn't have the same view range. It's probably designed to work in conjunction with some kind of AWACS. But it does have 16 air defense and 40 ground defense, and you have 17 and 45. You can do 450 at 66. You can do 500 at 70. Supply is always important when it comes to tanks. So we've got 572 and 57. Ooh, this is a lot less fuel, which is really more important. 45 and 17. Weight, 2178 and 22. Oh, that's not much difference there, though. 20 and 20. You know what? Until I get a much better tank, I'll stick with that one because it has greater anti... greater range. That's what I'm trying to say. While I was looking at anti-tank. I'm just looking around to see if anything... I know that they took Cuba, but I was seeing if anything else was happening. Are you at war with anyone? No. Who is at war? Pressing A to open up the World Atlas. A for Atlas. Don't want to see colonies. I get rid of that. I can click right here, and it'll show me provocation sorted by who has the highest provocation towards me, and it's Cambodia. If I click here, it'll show me who I have justification to attack. Right now, it's the USA, Russia, and Pakistan, and CDR, really. And if I click right here, I don't want to click on that. I'm trying to sort. There we go. I was trying to sort it by names again. This makes it alphabetical from the top. And then you can go down and look for names. But you can also scroll through here, which I don't see any right now. Who is the largest? We are still the largest. India is coming up close with the United States being third. How far down the list are we? Are we even on the list? I know we're on the list, but we're on the list is China. Did I scroll by it and not see it? Right there. Look how far down the list we are. Wow. Okay. Yeah, our economy is not great at the moment, but we're going to get there, hopefully. Now, some things that we can be doing is looking at, all of these are online now. I'm just looking to see if there's anything built out here that I don't like. Let's handle this. Warfare. We're going to throw these NBC. That's nuclear, biological, and chemical. NBC, nuclear, biological, and chemical. Let's look at this. We shouldn't be needing any more. Yeah, we don't have to buy any more industrial goods because we're very good to go on them. We're good to go on military. We're good to go on this. We've got a lot of power. We've got a decent amount of... Is there any more uranium to be found anyway? Come on, click this. Turn off that overlay for supply so I can see uranium better. Oh, I bet I've got... Yeah, turn off garrison so I can see. I think we've got... With the exception of this uranium, I think we have built on all the uranium I have. Well, we got a couple of spots here and one here. Nope, that was just a red flag. And we're not built on these. What does supply look like now when I turn supply back on? Up here, it's going to be sparse. Yeah, it's very sparse right there. Now here it's going to be... I don't know. I'm already built on that uranium. The color is uranium. I built all on this uranium, so disregard that. It's just right here, really. We can always just click on the hex and click on the world tab, and it'll tell us 36% supply, 36% supply. And sometimes the tiles don't load. You can see this whole tile here is not loaded. That's why this is fuzzy. It's not my graphics card or anything like that. It just happens sometimes. Here's another one. This tile's not fully loaded. Just happens in Supreme Ruler from time to time. I've never found a consistent way to fix it other than just logging out of the game and logging back in. I think I do need more uranium, because once we start building a lot of naval resources, and naval ships they're all going to be nuclear powered, and our uranium need is going to go through the roof. So thinking of that in the future, I'm going to build a supply depot right here. 6 hexes of supply. And then we're going to build railroad. Well, that didn't work, did it? Let's try that again. Let's go all the way to there. There. We just want to saturate the area with supply if we can. And sometimes I have been known to do this just to help facilitate supply going across. And now we're going to build uranium mines right there. And I will pull down the combat engineers to help speed this up. Even though it's not required, we got them, we may as well use them. We've only got 17 at the moment, so you all come down here to go there. Once those get built, this may increase the... What is producing supply here? Is there a... No, there's nothing here that's pushing supply. But you know what I can do? What I really want is a military base here on Hainan. I don't know what this is called in game, but to me this is Hainan Island. Hainan. I'm not really sure how it's pronounced. I've just always said Hainan. H-A-I, I think it starts with. Unless I'm just totally out in left field. My brain is pulling a Joe again. But I'd like to build an air base on this island so that we can project power, because at some point the Spratly Islands will become an issue. And the Philippines are going to have a problem with that. I can tell you that already. Where is my... Let me just turn all this off and click on this and this. Where's my nearest air base? Right there. That's the only air base I have all through here? That can't be right. There's an air base right there. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Ooh, I knew that wasn't right. That's an airfield. That needs to be an air base as a minimum, and then I need another one down here. I'm going to build an air base right here. And then if I can remember, when it comes on, I'm going to get rid of the airfield. I don't want both of them there. I don't need both of them there. Yeah, we definitely want air bases along the coast. What is this? That's an airfield on a military complex. I don't like that. It's a huge waste of resources to build an airfield on a military complex. Just build a regular airport. Well, I'd build a military complex. All right, let's let this game run again while this stuff builds up. And we'll take a look at this. Hey, Mexico, timber, military goods. I don't need military goods, but they're offering more than it's worth, so we'll accept. Timber, Mexico. Mexico's got a lot of oil. They sit on a lot of oil also. They offered, but they're not offering me, you know what? I will accept just so I can increase relations with them. Yeah, Bolivia, we're going to do it all. Okay. All right, now I want to look at, well, let me take care of this first. Industry. Consumer goods, $3.90. Yep, they're paying us more than it's worth. All right, now I want to look at, go back to finance. look at this again. I'm going to hover over the bank icon. It gives me our average debt interest rate is 5.1. Our average interest rate is 5.1. Now, if we come down here to this, you notice while the game is paused, nothing is populated here. But if you unpause the game, this will come up. And then once it comes up, you can pause it back again. And I'm going to pay off. We've got 1.1. I'm going to pay off at least one of these. I'm going to pay off the most current one. So this is coming due on 23, 24. All right, so this one, we're going to pay this off at 5. Wait, there's one 5.3. We want to pay these high interest rates one off. Yep, 5.3. We're going to pay that one off. 8.15, 7.15. We'll pay the 8.15 first. Boom. All right, now let's go back and pay the next one that was at 5.23 or at 5.3. Pay that off. 5.3. Off you go. Hold on. We got to wait till the next day. Pay that one off. Wait till the next day. 5.3. Pay it. Wait till the next day. Pay it. All right, but you know what I should have did before doing that? Look at our expense report. Look at our treasury. If you hover over here, it says right now we're paying $351 million every day. That's an interest. That's from these bonds. And I should have looked at that first before I started paying them off, and you can see how much it was going down. So keep that in mind, $351 million every day just to pay the interest off on the bonds. Let's pay a couple more and then look at that. Remember, 351 was the number. You know what I'm doing? I just realized what I was doing, my friends. I was clicking on new bonds. That's how long I've been since I played this game and messed with bonds. I'm sure some of you are just chomping at the bit and yelling at the screen. I don't want to issue new bonds, which is what I've been doing. I just clicked on the green one thinking green was good. I'm a moron. But that being said, the new bonds are only coming out at 1.5%. So I can still go back now and pay off the 5.3%. Boom. All right, 351. Let's see if it gets any better. All right, that was all the 5.3s. So new bonds are at 5.0. There's nothing lower. We've got a couple here that are 5.2. Let's pay them bad boys off. Yeah, let's pay them all off. All right, so right now, what is our current? All right, so our current interest rate is 5.0. So if I have anything that is, notice it says new debt is 4.6. So if I went here and clicked on this and a new one come up, it would only be 4.6%. We're losing money left and right. Look at our daily expenses. Expenses is 19. We're only making 12. We're going to run out of money here shortly. So what we're going to do is we're going to issue some new bonds. Let's look at this first. These are due on January 15th, 2024. Let's issue a new one. And it's another one at 4.6%, July 14th. So it's better, 4.6, still 4.6. So we're going to issue another bond at 4.6. Let's let it go one day and see what the new current rate is. 4.6, so we're going to issue another one. Is it still 4.6? It's now 4.7. So anything, we can pay off these 5.1s, pay that off, because we're just turning the interest rate over. And we'll let that run for a little while. You guys are done. Can you guys come set in between here? So as long as it touches the hex, it increases it. So by setting in the middle, it touches both of these. And we want to speed you up greatly, so we'll go ahead and put all of you right there if I can get the right thing to click. And again, both these stacks will touch both of these. So they are now 48 days. 7, 7. We'll let that run. What have we got here? Now we definitely need to pay attention how much money. So they're offering us 255, but they want 460. We're going to reject that. They offered us 3.6, they want 5. I'm going to have to reject that, Indonesia. Apologies, but we need the moolah. Estonia, industry goods. We need industry goods, so I'm going to have to accept. We need timber. Consumer goods, they're offering us 7. Yes, Ireland. Go for it. Timber, and consumer goods. 36442. I'm going to have to say no to Zimbabwe. They're not giving us enough money. So air base is coming along nicely. We still at 4.7. 4.6 again. Let's look at these bonds. Anything above 4.6 should be paid down. So we should get that 5.1 and pay it off. Let's do it. We don't have a whole lot of money, but we can immediately, that will move our bond down to, our debt down to 4.5, the interest rate. So we can immediately request another. And another. Still 4.5, we can request another. Still 4.5. And we can, it went to 4.6, which is still better than 5, so we're going to request another. Improve aircraft piston engines. What is this ultimately going to lead to? So this is all, this is World War II. Let's just click on the C. Nothing for China. Absolutely nothing for China. But I'm just throwing it in there because if my citizens are employed doing research, it does help my GDP overall. We'll throw this in. And there's got to be something else. May as well throw that in. Okay. That'll give us 22. And what is the third? Actually, I don't want you at all, so we're just going to turn you off. And I'll leave you there for a bit, but I think your range is too short for me. Let's look at all these technologies. Go ahead and throw that in there. Helicopter refueling probe. I don't think I'm going to need it, but we'll throw it in there anyway. What have we got here? You guys just came out of SA 500. You should be in reserve. What's the deal, Phil? Reserve. I might have them on deploy because I needed them quickly back at one time. Yeah, there they are deployed. No longer auto deploy. Just keep building the. How many have you built? 8, and you're building 2 more. Okay, we got Finland. Rubber at 26 and 41. I'm going to have to decline. 298 and 370 in Nepal. I'm going to have to decline. Mauritania, I don't know. I've heard it said a couple different ways in my lifetime. I don't know how they pronounce it. Nah, I'm going to reject. We need the money. 870 and 611. Yes, I will accept that. USA, we need the timber. 319 and 341. I'm going to reject that. New Zealand, we need the timber. Timber, industry goods. We need all of that. Who is this? Nepal again and Ukraine. We'll take the timber. We'll take the timber from both of you. We're still 7. All right, we're down from 9. We're down to 7.6 in the hole every day. These guys are built. Let's get you over here, you over there, and you right in between the two. All right, now I'm going to look at our finances. Again, I'm playing as a pure communist country. I don't care what the people think. We're going to raise taxes. If I can get that to, there we go, to 50%. And if you hold Alt, it moves in 0.1 at a time. So I'm pressing and holding Alt, and notice it'll go from 50.3 to 50.2, 50.1, and then 0. Now, consequently, if I want to go a huge amount, I I can press Shift, and Shift will move it a huge amount. And this works in all sliders. Even if you're dealing with this stuff up here, it works with all sliders. Shift moves an awful lot. Alt moves an awful little. Anyway, back to 50 is where I want it. 50 even for now. Again, I don't care whether the people like me or not. Now, we're going to look at sales tax. I'm going to move that to 30% because the less that my population buys, the more I can sell overseas, right? You know what? We'll go to 35. And the more I can sell overseas, the more money I can generate because I can charge more for it overseas. Now, high income, we've got this at 50, so we're going to move this to 45. Even. And we're going to move this up a little bit because these guys are buying food. We're going to go to 35 even on this. Now, when it comes to this unemployment tax, I'm going to move that up to 7. All three of these are going to be 7. There we go. Now, you can see right now we're currently 13 and 20. Let's see what happens. I imagine this daily expense might even go up because this is going to go down overall. So we went from 13 to 12. We're down to 18, back up to 20. Remember, these are, even though this says last day trades in the Treasury, these are not absolutely 100% correct. Don't ever try to do the math on these. You just want to get an idea. All right, so we've got consumer goods are not giving us a nut, though. Sorry, Bulgaria. 255, not enough. Reject. Come on, Australia. What can you do for me? Timber. So you're going to join New Zealand and giving me timber. Well, not giving me, but selling me timber. Then we'll look at Kuwait here. Nah, I'm not going to do it. They got all that oil money. They can pay more than that. Mexico times 2, timber and rubber. All right, so no to the rubber. Yes to the timber. Then we've got Bolivia, 430. Yep, yes to that. We need moolah. What is, let's look, go back at this. 4.5 again, okay. So we're just rotating that bond. We're not increasing it by very much, and we're paying off the higher debt. Consumer goods, oh, yes, Congo. Way to go, Congo. Of course, you are at war. And that's probably why our industry goods, we will accept that. Consumer goods, 375. Yep, you're paying me more. Angola's at war with Congo. That's who's they're at war with. So they need the consumer goods. And 266 and 357. Chad, I cannot do that. What is this? Oh, this is my big battleship we're going to throw in reserve. They're not the best battleships, but they're the only ones I can build. There's another one right there. Throw you in reserve. Unmanned aerial observation. That gives us, well, no, this is from previous, which again gives us nothing. If I can't find anything else to throw in, I will throw that one in. I might as well throw in, I don't want that. This, holographic storage. This will come in handy in the future. Advanced calligraphy. If I can double click it, sensory calligraphy, holo projection, and then military holographic applications, which gives us a cultural rating +1. In addition, opens up cloaking, which I'm absolutely going to want because I can build cloaking tanks that cloak. All right, we got some more combat engineers. Let's move them all down here. All right, that's everything is built. Now we can go back and look at our treasury, look at our expense report, and look at treasury. Notice here there is nothing. It says construction. So right now everything we had being built is completed, which means I can go to Hainan Island. This airbase should be there, and I can get rid of that airfield because I do not want an airbase and an airfield there. Okay, very good. We're still losing money, but only 6 now. Didn't really change. We were at one point, we were at 9. Remember that? 9 something. Now it's 6.3. Real-time communications. I think that gives us a +2 on warfare. Let's take a glance. Real-time communications. Yeah, +2 on warfare. Okay. Or communications. Let's throw something in there. What are we going to throw in there? I could throw orbital docking. The thing with orbital docking is the space race has already been won. You know, I talked about this briefly before. Even though NASA won, you know, that's done with. I'll just throw it in there to have something in there. Let's look at these. All right, we've got Tanzania. Nope, you're not giving me enough money. Not enough money. Got to be very stingy with our wallet right now. I need the timber, so I have to pay whatever they want for it. All right. Now, some of the things that I could be doing is I could actually look at countries that China diplomatic relations. Click on China, and then it'll tell me I'm green with Russia, green with Canada, green with Mexico, green with Papua New Guinea. So what I could do is I could say, you know, some of these countries are going to have timber. And I could go to that country and ask for long-term. Here's how you do that. You know what? I've got 28 minutes left. Let's go ahead and delve into this. For anyone who may be watching this video and they're unsure how they do this, this is how I do it. I'm not saying this is the best and the only way. I'm telling you this is how I do it. Let's say I want timber. I'm going to click on timber. I'm going to go down here to this world statistics. I'm going to look at the #1 exporter of timber, which right now is Canada, the United States, well, the top exporters of timber. Now, which one of these countries do I have the best relationship with? Well, let's look at Canada. We can double-click it, and you can see I'm totally friendly with Canada. We go back here. We look at timber again. Click on this tab. United States. We're about 50-50 with the U.S. Let's look at the next nation. Australia. Oh, they don't like us at all. And then we'll go back and look at the Philippines. Yeah, they hate us even worse. Remember I said something about the Spratly Islands? That's going to come up again in the future. So it looks like right now Canada. Let's go to Canada. They're the #1 exporter in the world of timber, and I need timber. I am very, very short of timber. So let's talk to them. Let's give them a diplomatic offer. We want to click on this. We want to click on timber. And let's say we want a 30-day supply of timber. And per day, now the thing to look at here when you're looking at this is hover over it. You can see right now, every day they produce 241,000 metric tons, and they only require 118. Now, if you did simple math, that would tell you that every day they produce 123,000 metric tons, or M3, every day that they do not use. However, they haven't sold a lot, so that their last sale, they was able to sell 872,000, which means not a lot of people's buying the timber. So if they have 123,000 every day, I should be able to go in and, let's say, get 90,000, right? So let's offer them. A lot of times it's too high and they won't do it, but it never hurts as a starting point. Let's go to, let's say, if I can get this. Okay, let's say 90,000 a day. Item requested. Right now it's red. Let's say we want to equalize the amount of money. No, they don't want it. Okay, what if I increase it? Is there anything that I can give you that would make that? No. Okay, so yeah, they don't want to sell that much. There's nothing you can do to increase that. All right, so let's back it down. to 7 days. Let's see if they'll do 7 days of 90,000. Oh, they'll do that. So he can predict in his budget that he'll have enough timber for 1 week to meet my demands. Now that this is what this was equalized, we equalize it. This is what it's worth. Since we're good friends with them, we're going to try to go less than 439 211. Let's equalize. Oh, I got rid of, pardon me. Let's try this again. Add that in there. Again, I leaned back and my boom mic is in my way, so I didn't realize I had gotten rid of that or even never added it. Will you take this? No. There's sometimes a country just will not sell an item because they consider it a strategic resource, and it looks like timber is one of those items. Let's see if he'll give me a one-time lump sum sale of 90,000. Nope, he won't do it. What about 23,000? Nope. Even if I give you everything I own? Nope. Yeah, they're just not interested in selling timber. And that happens quite often. Very often. So that's not going to work. I really would have liked that to work so that I could illustrate what I was talking about in case you didn't know. All right, this is all done. They're almost there. Helicopter refueling probes. Now, you'll notice that what's costing me a lot of money is this research. And right now, I'm just researching stuff that I really have no interest in just to keep the research burning. There is a thing with the Supreme Ruler series that is not well documented or not well talked about. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. I've talked about this in other videos, I think. I'm pretty sure I have, at least back in the Supreme Ruler 2020 gold days. If I leave some of these research slots empty, that research will help boost the research speed of all the other research going on. In other words, the scientists are not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They get reassigned to other research projects. But that does have diminishing returns. For example, could I put one research program in here and leave 22 of them empty, and would it go 23 times faster? No. There are diminishing returns, and it's still going to cost the same amount. So it can be, you can leave, 2 or 3 empty, and it will boost your overall research on each individual project that's going on. And not many people are aware of that. But I thought I'd mention that because the reason I thought I'd mention that is there's really nothing else I want to throw in. So I'm going to leave that slot empty. And we're going to press on. What else are we short on, if anything? We're actually doing good on anything but timber, which is very good position to be in. And I think that, yeah, petroleum and consumer goods are still our go-to. Now that I've raised the internal price for products, our people can't afford to buy as much, which means I now have more to sell on the world market. All right, consumer goods, nope. Ireland, you got to give me more money than that, buddy. You were paying me fine earlier. What happened? Timber, industry goods. We need them. Industry. All right, we'll get everybody up to that. 260. I'm sorry, Armenia, but I need more moolah. That was our air base at Haiku right here. All right, I'm down to 21 minutes, and I'm trying to fill this time where there's no combat going on and we're just in between wars by imparting as much information as I can at this stage of the game. 321, no. We need the industry goods, Estonia. Thank you very much. 259, nope. I'm going to decline both of these. I know you're not going to like it, but that's just the way it has to be. All right, Nepal, timber, and timber. We take all of that. Now, what we can do, let's look at Nepal and see how much. They're pretty consistently selling us timber. Actually, let's go to, yeah, let's do that. Also, I want to turn this filter back off It's interfering with my supply filter. I like to play with the supply filter on. Let's go to, I click on Mongolia when I said Nepal. Let's go to here. We'll talk to these guys. Well, first let's look at how much they are producing. Where is Nepal? Right there. So they're producing 48 a day, and they need 44. So let's say let's try 2,000. Let's try 2,000 timber a day for 7 days. Okay, 1992. Are you willing? Oh, it's not red, so they are willing. And then let's equalize. Okay, no, they want a little more money than that. So 806, 487. Let's clear that out and go to 806. This is one of those instances where I'm going to have to hold Alt and get smaller increments. Let's go to 821, see if they will accept that. They will accept that. So let's accept that. So for 7 days, they're going to give us 1992 every day for 7 days, and we're going to pay 821, which is a little better than market value, but that's okay. We need it. It's still cheaper than they were offering us. So now you see that come up. Now you can check this by going here, clicking on this, and look at existing. And here, they're going to give us 5 more days of timber and 4 more days. That's that previous treaty we had done with them. And we've got 3 treaties now for timber. Hopefully they all 3 hold. Carbon dioxide reducers. Again, I got nothing to throw in, so I'm just going to leave it blank. No, advanced power text. We do want that. All right, Nepal still coming. All right, buddy. You're offering 5 and only requesting 3.4. So we're absolutely timber, military goods. No, I don't need Turkey. Turkey, I do not need military goods. Now, if you want to up the sum there, then I'll consider it. Approved. All right, Kuwait. We need the consumer goods. How short are we? No, we're not. I keep saying we need consumer goods, but we don't. We're good. Now that we've got all these consumer goods factors, we're good. Medical MRI, we do want that. Let's see if there's any other medical research. Nope. Although there's 2 warfare. All right. Fire control upgrades, I do want that. Absolutely. Now, this piston engine's already said I don't want that. Doesn't do anything for us. 312, I have to deny. Timber and timber. Boy, Nepal is just going hog wild with the timber, aren't they? You're not paying me enough. You can buy it on the world market if you don't want to pay me what it's worth. Now, there is a way you can counter offer, and I'll illustrate that here. There's a breeze that has come out. Let's go ahead and reserve you. And I want to make sure those breezes are not... I thought I was on this. All right, they're all done. How many does that give me? 14, and that's exactly what I want is 14, which means I can get rid of the halos. This is 269 at 2150 and 55. This is 800 at 480. Yeah, these I'm gonna keep these 7 for. These are for infiltration because they have low visibility. Their profile it's backwards. This says profile, and that's not what it means because in this game, this used to be called stealth rating, not profile. See, the higher profile you are, the easier you are to see. But BattleGoat got it backwards. In the game, the higher profile you are, the less easier you are to see. And that used to be called stealth, and it should still be called stealth. I've talked about this many times in the past, but I'm just pointing it out again now that we're looking at this. This says this is high profile, but what it means is it's high stealth. They just never wanted to change the name back for some reason. But anyway, that's 55, whereas this is only 30. See, this is lower profile, but it's easier to see. You see how that's backwards? I really hope BattleGoat would step up and fix that, but they never showed any desire. There's 2 cap ships out of here. We're going to throw them in reserve. And actually, I don't want any of them deploying. How many does that give us for them battleships? That gives us 6. We still don't have any how many of these? We've only got 5 of these. I'm gonna throw all this in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll go back to the aircraft. I just don't think there's any. I have a half a mind to throw these in. 30 and 37 at 60, but this doggone interceptor, which is the flanker, is 46 and 52 at 80. It just doesn't have the range. It's 30 and 72 at 1696. These are 30 and 66 at 2208. So they go faster and they go further, but they just don't have the hitting power, and their range, their spotting distance is lower. That's how far they can see out. In other words, their radar, let's say their radar can see out to 72 kilometers, whereas these guys can only see out to 66 kilometers. So you would need them to work in conjunction with some sort of AWACS unit. 12, 216, and 12. 12, 216, 12, exactly the same. This has 34 air defense. This has 39. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I hate the decreased spotting range. That's really a big thing for me, but you really can't beat the speed. I'm going to throw some more of these in. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We'll throw 7 of them in. And we just had stealth aircraft designs. Very good. Does that mean future stealth fighters? Very good. Toss that in there. And let's take a gander. The J-20 is now available. And it's got 110 stealth and 90 kilometers. Yep, we're throwing this bad boy in. All right, so that'll top us out again in research. What was this? Chemical weapons, which I did see there. All right, so we've got Kurdistan. They're offering us more than it's worth, so we will accept. Nepal is timber. Accept both from Nepal. Kuwait, 598. Now, see, now you're paying me with all that oil money. That's good. I'm glad you learned. 440 and 5, well, it doesn't matter. Timber, timber, and timber. We got to accept all of that. I'm glad that Australia jumped on the bandwagon now, and they're following New Zealand by selling us timber. All right, Saudi, industry, which I don't need anymore. I do not need industry goods. Wait a minute. Yeah, they're requesting way too much money. We're going to refuse both these. We no longer need industry goods. I got to remember that. And Luxembourg and South Africa industry, no. 13, 20, 28. Nope, we're going to deny all of this because we no longer need industry goods. See, we can produce 128,000 and we only using 64,000. So no, there's no reason for us to buy industry goods when they're above market price. If they're below market price, yes, because then we can turn around and sell them on the world market. Super carriers. Let's see what that did for us. Nuclear super carriers. We definitely want that bad boy because, as I said at the beginning of this playthrough, this particular recording, we're going to want to project power across the ocean. Nope, that's not enough. You know what? Nepal has been so good, though. I have to say yes to Nepal. They have been selling us daily timber. And look at here, more timber from them. So I'm going to take it. Although I will look for them to lower their price of timber. All right, consumer goods, $851. Yes, we will take that Ireland. There you go. You're back to the big numbers. Timber. Yes. And no. All right, so yes. No. Sorry, Columbia. You got to up your wallet. Or dig deeper into your wallet. 255, 410. Yeah, I'll accept that. 21 and 18. Yes. And timber. Yes. Cannot accept that. We cannot do it. You've got to up your amount you're offering. If you have, by the way, if you have any questions about why I did something or how to do something in one of the videos, reference that video, reference the timestamp, and I'll do my best to answer you or to explain how and why. We're going to let one more day go by before I check. Okay. Notice that we're making money now that I'm not buying stuff for absorbing amounts. All right, they're offering 580, yes. They're offering 473 and requested. Timber, 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 and timber. All right, Nepal, you have doubled. All right, let's say yes and yes. And then for Nepal, that's too much money. I'm going to reject. Now, this is what I want to do, though. Instead of just rejecting this outright, I want to counter. They're offering me 5, and they're only requesting 3. So, of course, I'm going to accept this. They're offering 521, and they're requesting 366. So, of course, I'm going to accept this. They're offering 370 and requesting 388. I'm going to counter this offer. We're going to go to counter. I want them, they want 62 months worth of goods, and they're only going to give me a daily payment of $618. So let's get rid of that. We go to here. Now, I could say I want timber. Notice they've got a good reserve of timber. I can throw a little bit of timber in here. If we hover over this, we're going to go back and look at this. This is Angola. We're going to go back to timber. We're going to scroll down to Angola. They did not export any. That's why it didn't show up on that. But they will show up here if I can find their map and if I remember what it looks like. Just keep scrolling until I see the Angola map, or at least what I think is the Angola map. I'm sure it's red and black. There it is right there. All right, so you can see here their daily production is 20, and they're using, let's say, 7 every day, which means 13 is free. Oh, their capital is about to be taken over, so they really need. Let's talk to them. All right, so they want some consumer goods, and we want some timber. So let's say right now they have 205 available, but they can give me 13. Let's say give me 10 for 7 days, and we'll add that. And they're willing to do that. They're willing to do a straight swap because I'm only requesting 4 million, and we're offering 342, right? So let's go. Let's see if they'll give me. Instead of 7 days, let's go for a lump sum because their capital might fall at any moment. Let's go up to 200. Okay, you'll give it all because, again, now we're going to throw in some money. Okay, so they're willing to give me all their timber plus 330 so that we're off. It matches. So you see there's a mix between these two. This is 330 million, and this makes up the difference up to 342. And that, to them, that works better because they get to keep cash in hand and they get rid of some of their on-hand product. So we will accept that. Notice they don't like me as much anymore. That went from solid green to light green. That's okay. They're in a bind. They're way behind. They're willing to make a deal. Boom, boom, boom. The devil went down to where? That's right, Georgia. All right, 316, 385. Nope. But you know what? Again, Brunei is a really rich country. They're right here. Right here. I've been, well, it's another story. But let's counter this. Let's see what they say. Do you have any timber? Yes, you have some timber. So let's get rid of that. Let's request a one-time payment of all your timber, which they're not willing to do, okay? What about that much timber? Nope. So timber is a strategic resource for you at the moment. Yeah, you're not willing to even give me one? Oh, you'll give me one. All right. How high can we go then? You consider, not 3. We can't go to 3. All right, so let's just get rid of timber. Let's go to money. You should have a lot of money here. Let's equalize. You don't want to do that. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? Scratch all of that. Scratch all of that. Let's go back and look at this offer. I just realized what I was doing. Counter. You want to give me... Let's get rid of that and go to finance. Equalize? No, you don't. All right, so 340 you're not interested in. Okay, what about... How high can I go? Let's go to 304. Nope, you're not interested. What about 278? Not interested. 250? Okay, 250. Can we... We're going to hold Alt and just scroll up 1, 2, 2. All right, we're going to get rid of that and scroll up 2 more by holding Alt 1, 2. All right, you're willing to go to 250. Then we're going to scroll up 2 more. I do 2 at a time. Still 264. Let's go to 27. Let's go to 268. Nope, too high. All right, go down 1. 266. Go down 1 more. 265. 264. All right, you're willing to go 264. Now, in addition to that, are you willing to throw in a little bit of timber? Nope. What do you have excess of that you could throw in? I could use some... You don't have any... Will you throw in some uranium? You're not producing any. You just have a stock of it. Can you throw in all your uranium? Yes. So I can take all 1,000 kilograms of their uranium, and they're still making a deal. So let's see if we can get some more stuff from them. You know what? They were willing to give me 1 or what? About 3? No. Let's try 2. Can I get that small amount too? Nope. Looks like it's going to be... Nope. 1 more. Negatory romance. 1 more. We're just going down 1 rotation at a time. Because they would give me 1. I'm wondering 1 point what is the cutoff. I don't think they're willing to give me any anymore. Notice we're down to $57 worth of timber. Okay, they will. No, they're not willing. All right, we'll just go with that. I'm down to 3 minutes. I'm just really just illustrating the way to do it, or at least the way I do it. Okay, you're offering 523. Okay, you're that's good. You're learning your lesson. You're offering 152 and only want 116. Yes. You're offering 360, but you want 469. We will accept it because we need the timber. Now, what I'm going to do in these last 2.5 minutes is look at my our local economy here. And we still have 7.5% unemployment, which means I could make some timber. Let's look at, if I can click on, get rid of uranium and click on timber. So where is timber? Oh, Korea has a lot of high quality timber, doesn't it? Look at that. So does Vietnam, or the former Vietnam, now my territories. I'm going to take a chance. I don't normally want to put it out here close to the coast or close to any borders, but I'm going to take a chance in Korea because this is some high quality. All right, we're going to build a bunch of timber facilities down here. You can see I've only got 5. That's why I'm hurting so much for timber. So let's go and build... $562, $560. Anything over 3 is very, very good. $535, $327, $541, $551. Yeah, this, if Japan attacks, they could really cut off my timber production because it's so close. But this dark red, I can't pass it up. Especially if it's 500 metric tons. That is really good production. Let's go back up a little bit. Now, this is a peninsula, so it's really, no matter where you put it, it's not going to be good. Okay, so we got 10 times production. That's plenty. That should be plenty. Because we're already making $1 million with just 5, and now I've got 10 times the production. So what I'm going to do is turn that off, those filter off, grab these guys and move them up to here. By the way, how far are we on these new... They're already out? They're already out. Where are they at then on the map? I bet they went into... I might have mistakenly had them go into reserve. Oh, there's my 2-hour mark. Okay, if they went in reserve, I'm just going to pull them out and have them go join them. I'm a combat engineer. Let's go and join these guys. And again, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's simply the click of a button. There's absolutely zero downside to it. It's a click and forget. And if you click like, I would really appreciate it. And also, if you have any comments or any questions, go ahead and ask them here, and I will do my best to address them. Adios.